I'm glad to welcome you all. As always, I'm Igor Fox, and you're on the Upscale YouTube channel, where you can learn everything about prop trading and how to get up to $400,000 in real capital to implement your trading strategies. And all this without risking your own money. Today we have an interview with another funded trader named Vlad. Vlad is interesting because he purchased a $10,000 challenge on our platform. He passed it on his first try and has already received not one, but two payouts, or rather, to be precise, a total amount of over $3,000. Let's get to know him and learn about his journey. Maybe he'll share some interesting life hacks with us. So let's get started. Hi Vlad, how are you feeling today?
Hello, great.
Please tell our viewers a bit more about yourself. How old are you? Where are you from? What do you do besides trading? And what brought you to trading in the first place?
Hello again, everyone. My name is Vlad. I'm from Petrozavodsk. I'm 30 years old now, and I actually got into trading quite a while ago. So I first got acquainted with cryptocurrency about 8 years ago, and that's when I started trading. My first introduction to cryptocurrency was through mining. I had 2 rigs. I managed to save up some money, and I decided to try trading, since back then there were quite a few exchanges that offered trading opportunities. So that was the first time I tried it.
And besides trading, what else do you do?
Right now, besides engaging in trading, I also work online a little bit, but for the most significant part, it's mainly focused on trading and, of course, relaxing. What else can a trader do?
So does that mean trading has, it just so happened that it became your main activity?
At the moment, yes.
That's always nice to hear. So where did you learn to trade overall? Did you maybe buy any courses for yourself, or was it purely self-study, self-employment?
In the very beginning of my journey, I discovered and found a few interesting people's YouTube channels. For example, there was Ekaterina Kostevich. The first thing that caught my attention was that it was a woman trading, and she provided some basics. These were basic indicators, RSI, MACD, divergences. I learned about them back then, and it was really interesting. Looking at them on the chart is just amazing, in my opinion. There's some kind of magic in them. And it really is like that. When you carefully look at the various indicators, they all seem to perfectly line up with each other, intersect precisely, and it truly does look like pure magic unfolding before your very eyes. After that, I extensively watched various other YouTube channels and a number of Telegram channels as well, but for the most significant part, I have mostly stopped doing so now. I realized that having too much information is actually a bad thing. You really need to intensely focus on just one primary thing, on one specific, well-defined strategy. Right now I'm trading with the guys from Gold Trade. They've developed their own indicators, and I trade using their strategy.
Could you give me some advice? So overall, you have quite a lot of trading experience, and mostly you've done classic trading, where you're trading with your own funds, and somehow you ended up at Upscale. What attracted you to Upscale? Because for many people, it's considered something new and unclear.
Actually, I only found out about Upscale recently, literally. About prop trading in general, just 2 months ago. Although my friend, we talked to each other, and he said he had told me about it before, but I don't remember that. So I found out about Upscale from GoTrade, checked it out, read up on it, and I saw that there's quite an active audience, a chat, and lots of announcements. I got interested. I checked it out, gave it a try, and thought, why not give it a shot? So I completed the first challenge, then the second, and waited for the payout. After I had traded up my deposit.
You mean you passed the phases? Or did you complete 2 challenges?
Well, the challenge, then the second challenge, and then the phase when your account is already open.
Got it, I understand. On our platform, this is called phase 1, phase 2, and the funded phase. And the challenge is what always includes all these phases. Well, that's great, awesome. And how was your experience compared to trading with your own capital versus someone else's?
I'll tell you, there's a huge difference. When you're trading with your own money, you really have a lot more worries. You start thinking, what if I lose now? What if I enter wrong or close too early? When you are actively trading in proprietary trading, first and foremost, you inherently have significantly less fear of potentially losing your own hard-earned money, primarily because, you have already successfully purchased the challenge.
But it's not your money.
It's not your money, that's true. And that daily maximum drawdown really helps. Some traders, myself included, can easily get carried away and end up losing quite a significant amount of money in a single trading session. But here you can only lose 5%, well, less than 5%, and that's it. You're done for the day. There were a couple of times during the challenge when I hit the daily drawdown, a pretty big one, cooled off, and then traded everything back the next day. In my opinion, this really puts the brakes on things and gives you strong motivation to take a break today and come back to trading tomorrow with a fresh mindset.
Hey, that's great. It's always nice to hear that prop trading, unlike traditional trading, actually instills discipline in traders. And as much as I've talked to prop traders, quite a few of them say that yes, it's true. Because the platform has a daily loss limit or a maximum drawdown, it really cools you down and helps you approach the situation more rationally. It keeps you from getting into revenge trading or trying to win back losses. Well, of course, that's the classic psychological story. You know what I want to suggest to you? Let's move over to the trading terminal or trading view, and you can share your trading strategy with our viewers. Unless, of course, it's a state secret.
No, not at all. Let's do it.
My favorite question: what are the 3 indicators you can't imagine starting your day without?
It all really depends on the specific time of the day. I primarily use various technical indicators. I really like the divergence indicator. In other words, it's a universal indicator that on the chart, it shows how overheated the asset is. For example, here was a good situation, yes. Bitcoin was forming a range and I missed it because I was sleeping at the time, but it was an excellent trade. So you enter when the indicator is already overheated, it goes beyond the range, collects stop losses, and then Bitcoin moves down. That's the first indicator. The indicator, now the weekend has passed and the weekend range is being drawn. It's a very simple indicator, but it's a real pleasure to trade with it. For example, just yesterday, Bitcoin notably broke out of its established trading range. This significant event occurred during the night, where it had been trading within that range before decisively moving out of the confines of that range. That's it. You can open a short position. Go ahead.
But if you look to the left, you'll see that it was moving within the range, then broke out of the range and went long.
Yes. So accordingly, those are stop losses. Stop losses are set further over here. Here, yes, the market is very manipulative, so you always need to set stop losses, preferably at your entry point. And then, for example, you could have taken a short here, closed it, watched for the breakout from the range, and accordingly opened a buy position. The third indicator is the one where I mark out the Monday ranges, so to speak. All right, now I'll close this indicator so it doesn't get in the way. And this time, the indicator hasn't fully formed yet. That is, it will be fully drawn closer to the end of the trading day, and then you can confidently start trading based on its clear signals. I will now proceed to turn on the previously established levels. I'm not a big fan of trend lines, even though I have them drawn here, but I still prefer ranges and parallel levels. You can trade intraday here after Monday once the Monday range has formed. In other words, you can open pretty good trades using this indicator. I can't really show you right now where the good trades were here. Well, for example, there were good trades on Ethereum. So these are the 3 main indicators I use. There's also a trend indicator. It's better to look at it on a higher time frame, of course, but it also works great on lower time frames.
Look, with this indicator, your chart is like a real roller coaster. It's red, then it's blue. All right, I'm getting off topic now. So it turns out you use divergence, the weekend range, the Monday range, and the trend indicator.
Yes, but not only those. There are also other indicators I use specifically for scalping trades.
By the way, I forgot to ask you, how would you generally describe your trading style? Is it swing trading, intraday, or scalping?
Well, I mostly trade intraday. I typically look for a really good entry point, usually much closer to the opening of the American or the Asian trading session. When I am not sleeping, I often manage to get some truly good and profitable trades. Now, for the Asian session, I start my trading day closer to the session's opening, and I take both scalping trades and intraday trades if I like the setup more. It's harder to trade intraday now because the chart moves back and forth, and sometimes I don't manage to take my profit in time, and then I regret it.
I understand you, I hear you. So look, we've seen a few indicators that you like. Could you do a quick chart analysis for us? Let's say, for example, you're told to trade Ethereum right now. What would you do at this moment?
Sure, I would switch to a smaller time frame. All right, let's take a look. We've hit the trend indicator. Yes, sometimes we break through it, but more often we either bounce off it or break through. Right now, I wouldn't enter a trade like this. Let's turn on the divergence indicator. At this precise point right here, it would have been a very good entry point, since this particular layer is noticeably higher than the next one. However, on the divergence indicator, this same layer is clearly lower, and here, distinct points have now appeared on this important indicator. You could have taken a trade here. At the moment, it's 1.5%. Of course, sometimes it actually goes even further than initially expected. These particular points, they tend to appear a little bit later in the process, primarily because they genuinely need to be thoroughly confirmed, so to speak, before they can be fully integrated. But still, since this bottom here, well, this is convergence. Convergence, if I'm not mistaken, that's what it's called. So on the chart, it looks like this. The bottom is here now, and here it's like this. They diverge. And on a lower time frame, this basically works as well. You can take a trade. At the moment, I don't know what to do. Right now, I wouldn't enter a short-term trade on Ethereum. In the long term, I would probably wait for this level to be retested, since there are likely a lot of stop orders there.
So you said that you don't see an entry point on Ethereum at the moment. Let me ask a slightly related question. Do you have any favorite coins, or do you trade anything at all?
I generally trade anything, but it's more consistent to trade Bitcoin since it's not moving much right now. So it's not like with Ethereum, for example. For example, today Ethereum showed a 4% move while Bitcoin only moved 2%. In my opinion, the smaller the percentage, the better, because if you take on a significantly greater amount of financial risk, you can indeed make a very good amount of money, but you also won't lose it as quickly. Since this particular cryptocurrency coin, Bitcoin, is much more liquid right now, and sometimes, according to the various technical indicators, it truly looks quite interesting at certain specific moments in time.
I hear you. So, you know what we'll move on to now? Let's switch to your trading terminal in Upscale and ask you how your phases ended. And you'll show us your certificate. Sometimes you need to show off a little too. There's nothing wrong with that. So yes, let's move on to all of that. The very first question, how many challenges did you take in total? How many attempts did it take you to pass the 10,000 challenge?
Well, for the 10,000, I took that on, and that was indeed my very first significant challenge. I took it on, and it was about, well, perhaps, turns out I took it about a month and a half ago. Yeah, it actually didn't take that much time. So maybe it took about 10 days or so. There were some good trades at that time. Yeah, I closed it quickly. I also have an account for 5,000, as you can see. That one was gifted to me. Yeah.
That's always nice.
Yeah. I'm not really keeping a close eye on it at this very moment because I was much more focused on the significant challenge, specifically on the $10,000 account. This is primarily because I genuinely wanted to withdraw a substantial and good profit from it. Yeah, maybe I'll get to that now. Now it's the second stage of the challenge, and yesterday I almost hit the daily drawdown. Well, I didn't quite reach the daily drawdown. Yeah, I'll go for 3 more profitable days. Basically, this account will stick around for a bit longer. I'm sure I'll close it out too. I went through this $10,000 account pretty quickly, as I said. It's pretty easy to rack up profitable days since I trade almost every day, except maybe Saturday and sometimes Friday. Yeah. The rest of the days usually close out well for me. I rarely end up in the red. Don't pay attention to the fact that it's showing 0 right now. I literally withdrew my second profit today. Let me show you the certificates now. This one is about July 8th. That was,
well, about a month and a half ago.
A month and a half ago. This was the first withdrawal was on August 4th for $1,608. And today I withdrew, roughly speaking, $2,000. So accordingly, my first payout came in and it was a good trade. Since my payout was on Monday, on Tuesday there were quite good trades, and according to my breakout strategy, let me turn it on now. So we broke out of the range, traded a bit, broke out, and tested it. That's it. Here I took the trade and closed 14% profit on this trade. This was on $2,000 if I'm not mistaken, with 5x leverage. So literally in just a couple of days, I made a good profit there. That trade really stood out to me. I hope that something similar will happen this week. Although, of course, it's not guaranteed. Every trading day is completely different. You have to, just like the first time. Exactly.
Here's what I wanted to ask you. You just told us that you had a position for $2,000. What is your risk-reward model? Do you use stop losses or take profits at all? Are those terms even part of your trading vocabulary?
A stop loss is absolutely necessary in this case since I'm trading prop. I'm not allowed to go beyond a 5% loss. Yes, I always trade with stop losses. As for take profit, I usually close those manually. Sometimes I set it either for the whole amount or by percentages, but a stop loss is a must. Regarding risk management, it all depends on the trade. So if I take a short intraday positional trade, I might increase the risk. But this is not financial advice. Don't do this, especially if you're a beginner. It's better to trade according to a strategy, for example, risking 3% of your deposit. But I trade with fairly large amounts. Sometimes it's almost half my deposit with 5x leverage, but I'll say right away it's very risky. You need to set stop losses.
Aren't you truly afraid to go in there with just half of your initial deposit using the absolute maximum leverage?
No. The most important thing in trading is the entry point. If you have a good entry point, you can confidently enter large trades. The main thing is to set stop losses, especially if you have a good entry point, like for example right here, you literally enter and that's it. If you set your stop here, you won't get knocked out anymore. You can calmly stay in the trade, take your profit here for example, and then keep watching and taking more profit as it goes. Like I said, for me personally, the most important thing is the entry point. So with the indicators I get from GoTrade, I have an entry point using these indicators, which is why I feel pretty confident in the trade.
But look, you're talking about these calm moments right now, but I am more than absolutely sure that during your extensive and significant trading career, because I truly think we can definitely and accurately call it that, you've undoubtedly made some notable mistakes along the way, haven't you? So what would you strongly recommend other traders consider cutting out from their current trading behavior before, for example, getting into proprietary trading or even just starting to trade in general?
I'm talking to beginners right now. It's best not to trade with your own money. This could be either a demo account or prop trading. That way you can already get a feel for the money. That is, if everything works out for you, you'll be able to withdraw your profit. And first of all, it's best not to trade with your own money because you could lose everything. It's very risky. And trading, really, it doesn't forgive mistakes. It's the easiest money, but the path to it is the hardest. That's how I'll put it.
You know what I want to say? I want to say that with Upscale, as you thoughtfully mentioned about the demo account, you can not only trade on a demo, but you can also effectively trade on Upscale's dedicated demo, where all the exact same rules apply. And if you're unsure whether you need the challenge or not, you can try it absolutely free. Just open a demo account with $10,000. You'll have exactly the same daily drawdowns, maximum drawdowns, and the same trading day rules. That way you can see for yourself whether you need it or not. Many traders go through, so to speak, losing streaks. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
How do you usually deal with the urge to win back your losses? Do you have any kind of ritual or a list of actions you follow if your trading is really not going well at all?
It happens, the market usually moves in waves, right? That is a correction, or rather growth, then a correction. And if you miss that wave, if you have 2 or 3 losing trades, it's better to take a break for the day, go over the charts again, take a look, rest, and come back the next day. The charts aren't going anywhere. They're there 24/7. You can make trades 24/7. And it's better to take a break today, come back tomorrow with a clear head, get some sleep, and make new, more successful trades.
So you just step away from trading and say, that's it. Today I'm going to pet some cats, and that's all I need from life right now.
Because, besides the charts, there's real life too. You need to pay attention to that as well. What's the actual point of all the money you truly want to earn from trading if your real personal life isn't genuinely working out as it should be? It's often much better to thoroughly tidy up your home, perhaps engage in some calming meditation, actually spend some quality time petting your beloved cats, and then, with a refreshed mind, come back to carefully analyze the charts the very next day.
Look, right now we're talking about all sorts of unrelated topics, not in the sense that we're straying from our main thread. I'm curious, and so are our viewers. How do you generally filter out the noise? I mean, there are a lot of news stories, a huge number of Telegram channels telling you to go here, no, go there. So how do you find the golden mean in all of this? Or do you not look at any of that at all and just rely on yourself?
No, I don't rely only on myself. I do look at some information, but it's very filtered. I've chosen 1 or 2 YouTube channels for myself that I watch, and I don't watch anything else. So whatever videos pop up for me, I don't watch them. I don't read trading charts because it's like, there's a sloping trade, enter here. But that's nonsense. It's better to think for yourself, make a plan, and stick to it.
And which communities are you in where you chat with others?
I'm in a community, yes. I'm in the Go Trade community. That's precisely where I consistently get my reliable indicators from. They have live streams twice a week, which is incredibly beneficial. It really helps. A robust strategy I've personally found for myself. I trade by it now, and as you can clearly see, it's working exceptionally well. I didn't understand how it all worked at first, how extract tags work, but after about 3 months I got the hang of it, and now I understand how the market moves. So the indicators really did help me.
We've sorted out your noise issue, and now I'd like to talk about the fact that your trading journey has been quite long, about 8 years already. Have you ever had periods or moments when you wanted to quit and stop doing this altogether? How did that turn out in the end?
Well, I guess there weren't really any moments when I wanted to quit completely. What really held me back was when I lost my first deposit. It wasn't so much that I wanted to quit. I just realized that I had made mistakes and needed to learn. Like I said, I really enjoy working with charts. I mean, I like looking at them, I like analyzing them, and basically I'd like to connect my life with this both now and in the future to keep learning. In this case, there's really no limit to perfection. When would I want to stop? Honestly, probably never. There was a moment, I'll tell you about the first memorable one related to trading. So it was some exchange. I had a small deposit, literally maybe $300, maybe $400. At that time, it was about 20,000 rubles. So there was a small order book. I was buying coins directly from the order book. Those were probably my very first moments in trading. And along with me, someone else was also buying from the order book, and then we would sell. And somehow we managed to make quite a lot of money from it. I did this for about 3 days. I don't remember why I stopped, but overall the profit was really good. And at that time, I was really surprised that you could actually move the market with such a small deposit, like 20,000 rubles. Well, it was a low liquidity coin. Even when I lost a lot, I understood that it was entirely my own mistake. But I didn't want to stop doing it because I really liked the charts.
So, have you always been involved in classic trading? Then I found out about prop trading. Did you have any myths or doubts, or did you just find it and decide to try it out?
I didn't have any myths because basically I hadn't heard about trading before that, but I did have some doubts. Well, obviously nowadays the internet is just, how should I put it, a place where it's really easy to get scammed. I did have doubts, but honestly at that time, $100 wasn't such a big amount for me to buy myself an account. So I gave it a try. That's it. I don't regret it now.
So look, you already said you don't regret it, but what was your first emotion after receiving your payout from prop trading?
Well, I guess my first emotion was just that it actually works. I immediately went to tell my wife.
Oh, really? How did it go? What about the cat?
No, I absolutely did not tell the cat anything at all.
All right. So you've already had 2 payouts totaling $3,500. Well, around that amount. If it's not a secret, where did you decide to spend the money?
The first bit of money, when I haven't spent it all yet, I just can't seem to. It's just for some everyday needs. So basically, just paying the bills for now. If we wanted to treat ourselves, we bought some steaks and cooked them. Basically, the rest is just sitting there for now, not being spent on anything. As for the second amount, which I literally just received today, I have no idea yet what to do with it. Maybe I'll use it to buy a bigger challenge.
So, judging by what you're saying, you ended up with quite an over profit, right?
It was a good profit, really. That's about 30 or perhaps even 35% per month. Even for highly successful traders, that's truly excellent. For a genuinely good and proficient trader, that's absolutely super. That goes for me as well. I don't consider myself a super trader, so I was aiming for around 30%. I actually did even more than that. So I'm satisfied with myself. You shouldn't set your expectations too high, thinking you can make 100% per month. It's possible, but most likely you're trading with high risks, and soon you'll just lose that money.
But I quite often hear from traders, well, not professional traders, but those who are just starting out, that in their first month, they make 100% profit. Then that 100% will turn into 200% thanks to compound interest, and then it'll become 400%. And just like that, they think they'll be millionaires right away. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. I'm glad that you understand this and that we understand it too. And I hope our audience will understand it as well. So, to wrap up our interview, I'd like to hear a couple of tips from you for those who are just thinking about starting out and are still unsure. What advice would you give to people who are about to open their first prop trading account?
I'd say it's better than trading on exchanges. First of all, it can be quite risky to keep your money on an exchange because exchanges can shut down and things like that. Here, you're simply acquiring an account. Then, once you make your first withdrawal, you're not risking anything anymore. It's also quite convenient to manage your risks. For example, there's a 5% daily limit, and overall, the maximum drawdown is 10%. 5% a day is just fantastic because you can't go beyond that. You'll need to set a stop at that price, at those 5%. That's it. Don't have any doubts. I am quite sure that if you have a well-defined trading strategy and you consistently stick to it, you will undoubtedly succeed, just like I personally did.
And finally, we're getting a notification that our interview with you is coming to an end. Thank you for coming to see us, Vlad. It was a pleasure talking with you and hearing your story. And we hope that soon you'll be getting payouts not just from the $10,000, but also from $100,000.
That would be awesome. We'll strive for that.
So our interview with Vlad has come to an end. I want to thank all of you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our new videos. And of course, if you want to try prop trading yourself, you can always follow the links in the description where you'll find all the information you need. See you at the top.